Hi, I'm Gandalf Clark.
I'm Ellen Clark.
And
we're
we're
the
the Clarks. Hey guys.
Hey, so this video is about how we use OneNote for business. This is our follow-up to the first video that we did about how we use OneNote for personal. This is our video for Saturday. We wanted to be prepared for you. So basically, we use OneNote for every aspect of our business. We have a notebook for each team on our business, and we have a OneNote for each project for our business. So when I say for each team, what I'm talking about is we have a notebook for our writing team, for our production team, social media team, accounting team, IT team, every single team. And within those teams, we have different sections. We have team members, we have a meeting tab, which has the meeting notes for every meeting.
And remember, if you can't work as a team, you're fired.
What's helpful with the meeting tabs?
Team.
I think that you agree that what we were talking about in the previous video about how when you're working 24/7, when you think about the business all the time, is especially when it's the weekend, you're trying to have a good time with your friends, you get this business idea pops in your head. Where do you put it? You put it in your OneNote.
Which I have to ask her all the time if it's not something obvious to me where I put this idea or this thing we need to bring up in a meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
So she'll tell me, "Oh, go to the writing team meeting for Monday, this Monday." And if there's not a now there usually is an agenda because Dawn stays on top of it. But if there's not an agenda, make an agenda. Like for production teams, sometimes I have to make an agenda for that week because it hasn't been made yet. And I'll be like, "Oh,
Jinx isn't very proactive about making the agendas."
No offense to Jinx.
No offense to Jinx. It's just not their personality type. We more work as a whole team when it comes to that.
Right.
Whoever has the idea first.
But Jinx does lead the meeting a lot of times.
Yeah, so. Jinx leads the meeting.
And is a fantastic director.
Yes. So, for example, Gandalf was like, we really want to get together on, September 2nd. That's a thing where it's usually like a production, usually everyone who's in production. But we all want to get together also to work on our game stuff. So even though it's not a game meeting, I said to Gandalf, put it in the meeting for production because pretty much everyone's going to be there. We can talk about it with everyone.
Right.
We text, see who's available. And then we put that in the meeting. So that's when we can just quickly deal with the idea. We know when we're getting together next, and that's helpful. The other thing I love about OneNote is it helps us work collaboratively. For example, the cannabis project that we worked on with people in different time zones and people who have responsibilities. They have kids. They have other things going on. And so this was really helpful that everyone could work within the different panels in the OneNote. Everyone had different assignments. You could look over different people's pages and things like that, work in the middle of the night if you have to, work early in the morning. You can send messages to each other. Everybody on the team was like, I have my text messages on silent, so feel free to text me anytime. So people can just say, hey, I'm done my section. Would you look over it? So that was extremely helpful for us when we were working on that project specifically. So we love doing that.
I'm going to say it's helpful for all the projects because, when we migrated over from Battalion 13, the podcast, to Battalion 13, the Immortal, Dawn's created, and I can't praise Dawn's enough, Dawn's created a OneNote for the Immortal and started moving everything over there, and the podcast stuff got moved to production. And because originally we just had the podcast notebook and we didn't really have a ton of other notebooks because that's all we were doing at the time. But that was like pre-2020.
And that was more procedural, like how to put the podcast together, how to put the lines together in Cubase and all of that, like the show notes, all of that.
Yeah. And I just went over those again and edited them with people's name changes and taking off the dead links to like Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and all that stuff so that we can just see the people's names. If someone wants to look someone up in LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, they can do that.
Yeah, we just don't really want our personal stuff on there anymore.
Well, the links don't work on the YouTube on the YouTube app. Or on the YouTube Studio, the links don't work when you set up the video. So
yeah. So yeah, and if you guys want to contact any of our actors, you can just email us at b13 at battalion13hq.com. And just wanted to point this out. You guys have been seeing we've been drinking some delicious coffee. Did you know that we have our own B13 blend that you can actually buy on our website at b13books.com? The beans are roasted right here in Frederick, Maryland, and the owner of this coffee organization won Woman of the Year here in Frederick. She also flies all the way to different countries to collect these beans. She's getting ready to go on a trip to Brazil. She makes sure it's all fair trade and humane and everything like that, and that people are getting paid fair wages and everything. Like, she's the bee's knees. Okay, Serena. She's amazing. So we highly recommend the coffee. It's low acid. I have Crohn's disease and Gandalf has IBD. So drinking coffee can be difficult for us, but this coffee, freaking amazing. We love it.
Yeah,
Give it a try.
I do usually have to poop afterwards, but that's a good thing.
That helps you get your things moving. So anyway, back to our OneNote notebooks. Yes, we have story Bibles for each project that we're working on. What's great about that is, you're sitting around, you're talking about your story. Sometimes we record our sessions, like we'll get into a groove, we'll just start talking about a character, and we'll just have these ideas flowing, and we'll just press record, and we have these nice voice notes that it's like, what were we thinking about at the time about this character's plans?
Yeah, because the thing is, we are stoners.
Yeah, and we don't want to take notes all the time.
It's not just that. We do take notes a lot because you've kind of put a kibosh on the recordings.
I don't want us to have so many recordings. It's easier to take notes at the time.
The thing is, like, it's really good to have a place to put all your notes, to put everything you need to think about, to talk about, to bring up with people, especially if you're a stoner. It's a way of staying organized because, as a stoner, I know that I'm not going to remember everything. And my memory's already shit before I started doing weed. So, it's worse now.
But, and our writing leader can come back to us and say, it's not in the canon. If you come up with something new, Donsk will come back and he will be like, Gandalf, this is not in the canon. He will berate you and he will say, no, bad Gandalf, this is not in the canon.
Although occasionally I get a really good idea through.
You do.
I do get a really good idea through occasionally.
He'll be like, Gandalf, you said that vampires do this. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good idea. So he keeps us on our toes.
I don't even remember my own ideas. Honestly, if I didn't have OneNote, we wouldn't have a business.
Yeah. OneNote keeps us organized. We love OneNote.
We would not have a business.
Yeah, so the other cool thing with OneNote is you can allow different levels of access. You can also do that with OneDrive. We have different levels. Some is like battalion, all the company. We have a collaborative folder where we work on with all of the other writers that we're working with that are not part of the company.
And also our
musician,
Dan Hughes.
Our Dan Hughes. He's our dear friend who helps us with music needs. And we also have like a notebook. In our writing notebook, we have like all of these tools. Like we're like, oh man, I need some writing help here. I need to make my sentences more juicy. We go into the writing team notebook and we're like, okay, some similes, some metaphors, some figurative language. What can I do here? And we go to these exercises that Donsk has created for us. And he's just done such a brilliant job with them. We get some ideas about how to write better. We look in there and it just really jogs our memory. There's other tools that we have for writing. We have all of these different generators that help us with coming up with different names. We have these like tarot card things that we use that are that can help us. We have like different gender generators and different sexuality generators, like all these different things that we have. And we have like character sheets, and we have like structure outlines, like all kinds of different tools that we have with our OneNote. So it's really amazing. We also use it for our to-do lists. We use it right now. I'm looking at this outline that we created for this video. So it's really helping me. I have it queued up on the iPad here. We use it for job aids. Like sometimes you only do something like once a month or once a year.
Right. And you need instructions on that because if you don't do something every day, you're not going to remember how to do it. At least that's how I work.
Yeah, that's how I work.
If I don't do something, unless I've done it a lot in the past, like my tech work, I'm not going to remember how to do something, which is why I've had such a difficult time getting more certifications for like networking, because I've learned subnetting like 3 times and I don't remember how to do it. Yeah, because I never used it.
The other thing we like to do is we go on these photography trips. We go on these field trips, and if we have an idea for a field trip, or also we have like checklists and things like that. Details about the trip, like what different places allow, like to prepare for the trip. This place is going to be rocky, so we'll need like hiking boots. We'll need ponchos, like when we went to the Ren Fair, certain things like that. We can all start working on that page, creating a list, things like that. So it's really, really helpful when you're working collaboratively to have these checklists, to have these wish lists, that sort of thing. And then you can hyperlink to the OneDrive and say, okay, here's the documents. So Gandalf is working on the Immortal, and we're working on who's going to be writing each piece, who's going to be editing each piece. This book is going to be written by a team of writers, just like the podcast.
And some of those, I will say this, some of those writers that wrote stuff for the podcast, and I've translated it from script to prose, some of those writers are not with us anymore, but we are going to put their names in the book because they did
as contributors because they were part of the company. And if they passed on or they moved on to something else, we want to honor their memory. COVID was very hard on us. We lost a lot of things, and we want to honor that memory. So everyone will be memorialized. Everyone will be honored. But with the Immortal book, it's definitely a huge group effort.
It's a major collaboration.
And so basically, like in our OneNote, we're going to have like notes that we want to add to each scene, but then we'll have like a link to the document where people are going to be writing their scene, and then the editors will be able to see the notes. The editors will be able to know where the document's located, and it really creates extreme efficiency in our business. So we highly recommend that you find your best way to use OneNote for your business, and let us know in the comments, what do you use OneNote for? If you've used it, have you ever used it? What ideas have you gotten from our video about how to use OneNote? What do you think of how we use it? So let us know in the comments. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Gandalf, did you have anything else to add?
No.
Okay, great. Well, hope you guys have a good weekend. Stay in touch. Take care of each other.